that actually simplifies everything. So, now we're just going to need to figure out the routing for that. Oh, that's... actually, that is fine. Or should it? No, that's not fine. Bring all of this down a few tiles. That many. And then we can do this part here, the injectors for the components. And those can be timed. The spacing of this is horrible. In fact, at this point we might as well just move it back up again. There. Oh wait, this is just... I unaligned it when I moved it. And that is correct. And resolved. Let's see if I do this correctly. And from this side. And just to begin with, because we're actually going to need more components than this. It's just to check the routing. Small delayer here. Oh, block. Got blocked. Not ideal. Another option is just to cover the face of this with those components and then destroy the ones with eviscerators that we don't want. Actually, this big one might need to go in last, since it's blocking so much of the things below it. Yeah. In fact, let's just enter a different solution. Here. There. This can be phase 1 now, the first phase 1. I'm going to join them much closer to the ports themselves. And that can be preloaded for later, but pushing it off to the side just for now. And so at this point, we can try reproducing that same pattern as before. Oh wait, it needs to be slid into position in order for the welders to go in through the back. I forgot about that part. So this all actually needs to be moved. I'm not sure how far, so I'm just going to move it that far for right now. As well as the rest of this. There. Almost aligned, actually. That's good. I'm going to have that go like that instead. So less likely to interfere. We're gonna have that be routed up and over later. There, and now we can test this. He's coming too fast. I need to delay it by 1. That is correct timing. And we can install this part this way. There. And of course, just like last time, we can have this initialize its own output. And this should actually be moved frontward to this layer, and then no, 1 layer beyond that, and slid back into a good spot again. A lot of this is going to involve sliding, and it even needs to be elevated slightly before the end. Yes, and as you can see, if I were to actually set this up here like this, you would see how fast it's supposed to work. Just hypothetically, I'm going to remove it after I'm done, and this will be synchronized perfectly, I'm pretty sure, if I do it that way. Oh, hold on. This needs more delay now, at this point. There. That looks like too much now, so I can tune this also by this much. A huge pre-delay in the entire system overall. It still activates too soon. What if I do this? That's 1/2 delay, because it's 4 out of 8. There, look. Oh, that one was wrong. This is massively asynchronous. What if they are routed there and only welded when they're needed to be welded? Hard to explain how that would work. This is a complex part now that I look at it this way. Let's actually take a look at the other parts before we continue. This is another strange shape. I have these parts to work with. This pyramidal shape is perplexing, but I can actually do that in 2 parts, 2 halves, and then join them. This is the same shape, but upside down, which would need a different constructor for it. And of course there's these 4 beams, which are actually pretty simple, and this core, which is the simplest part. I think this might be simpler than the computer. What's the other one? The other 2, actually. Oh, I see. More room construction. I'm actually not sure how difficult this would be. Looks like a lot of complex shapes. That doorway would need to be cut manually. The beds would need to be rotated. And finally, Let's see what we have here. Oh wow. Yeah, this may be a challenge. There's a reason these are the last levels of the game, and that's because they're ridiculously hard. Or complicated. Well, I think in this case those two terms are synonymous. I think we're already most of the way into this one, so we should probably finish this one first before continuing to any of the other ones. No. Instead of this stupid system. These should activate when they are needed. And these, at large, should probably be moved down to a lower level, closer to the work, to make it easier. This level. It's directly over. There. How would this work? There. I think we can get rid of that pre-delay now. And so finally, this should activate when it detects that it can send them. Here. There. Let's see how this works. Well, now let's see how this works. Actually, this entire layer is unused now. There. Actually, there's not a setting for one, only two. Can make an AND gate. Yeah, that would work. Poorly, might I add. Another idea, we can make a monostable, that would work. And not as poorly. Yeah, I could place it up here. Almost as if I planned this. And also, these parts should probably... no, never mind. This part appears to work correctly now. What a miracle. How can we do these other parts now? I think I can see some ways in which we can do this entire next part here all at once. So what we can do here is ascend two at a time, and we might be able to stamp them in horizontally. What a mess.